good evening, etc., etc. Dahorin Molven San Bonani to Melang Tobela Upsni Kinches Malalapo, good evening, good afternoon. It's Severian, Lord Severian. You can see my other name there, I'll crop it out later on. But nice to have you with us, Wise and the Arcane Scholar. We have two members of TokenLordsRPG on the panel to welcome our expert on all things Pi, Dave Roscoe. Hello, Dave. Please, can you, to the uninitiated, could you please tell us more a bit about who is Dave Roscoe?
All right. Well, first, let me say I don't profess to be a Pi expert, but let's see. Who am I? Well, I'm predominantly a software engineer. I've been a software engineer for the past 30 years, mostly for startups and I worked for 15 years with NASA Langley. I got into crypto during the pandemic when we were all shut in. I was looking for something different to do. And I quickly learned that crypto was pretty much gambling. And I got out of it, but what I did get into, I got into a couple of different, like free to mine type projects. One was the XYO coin, an app, which is how I originally got my airdrop link for Pi back when Pi first came out. XYO came out first. And then I got a link invite to this other one, and I joined it. And I've since long given up on the XYO coin project, and I've stuck with Pi, and I've been with it ever since.
Well, I'm so happy to have come across your channel, because there's a myriad of these channels, and as you know, there are those clickbaity stuff and the FUDs and the this and the that. So what I like about your channel is that you give us the information, no nonsense information. It's facts checked, and if it's a good thing that's happened, you give us the good news. If it's not so good, you don't pull any punches. So I really like that. And yeah, there's a lot to complain about when it comes to the Pi core team's communication ability. Hey, it's terrible.
Oh, it is terrible. It is atrocious.
So, but we've had a much better, I think, a much better experience with the devs of TokenLordsRPG. At this point, I'm going to ask Wise and the Arcane Scholar to give us a history. Well, I think maybe we shouldn't yet do that. Before we go there, I just want you to sketch for us what you think is happening with Pi, where we are at the moment, what the price is. I didn't even check the price. I don't check the price because I've locked up my Pi for 3 years, and so whether it's $10 or 20 cents, it really doesn't matter to me. I've got maybe 20 Pi that I've got available that I could sell if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Not at what the price it was recently, 20 odd cents.
Yeah.
But what do you think is happening with Pi at the moment, and the road towards full decentralization? Where do you think we are at the moment?
Well, I'll say this right now. There's a lot of people that have expectations of this project that just aren't realistic. Everyone's hung up on the fact that they've been mining for the last 6+ years, and all of these things aren't in place. And my argument to that has always been, as far as I'm concerned, this project started for real on February 20th, 2025. Everything that happened before that is them just building their network. And they couldn't do much else if you think about it, right? Behind closed mainnet, there's only so much you can do without being tested in the real world. And they did, they rolled out testnet 1, testnet 2, and closed mainnet. And it wasn't that long after enclosed mainnet when they finally decided to go live. They had they had set some goalposts with respect to migration totals and KYC totals. They waffled a bit on the KYC deadline, which I understand, because KYC right now is a just total mess, and they're trying to get a handle on that. But as far as I'm concerned, this project started for real on February 20th, 2025. And from that perspective, they've actually done quite well. When you look at the cadence of updates and implementations of new features, here we are less than a year, and they've rolled out some pretty significant changes, and they've got quite a few big changes in the works right now, not the least of which is the version 23 update. Now, people were thinking that the version 23 update was going to be right around the corner for mainnet, but I was very pessimistic of that. I figured it wouldn't be before the end of the year at the earliest, and that looks like that's becoming true. My guess now is it's probably middle of the year of 2026, considering they haven't rolled it out to testnet 2 yet. But this is a big deal because we're going to have the ability to create tokens on mainnet, which is good. You'll have the distributed exchanges available, and you'll have smart contracts. And even though all of these things are currently part of the Stellar Consensus Protocol, they're not implemented. And I don't see the Pi Core team doing that until the version 23 rollout. I think that's going to be the gate.
Well, thank you very much for giving us that lead in. All I know is that I managed to sell some Pi at close to $3 each, which meant then that I had turned something into real money, into fiat, from pressing a button every day on my phone. So don't try and convince me that it's a scam when I made real money out of it.
Yeah, no
I already knew. I already knew. Like, for example, when I joined the XYO coin project, right? I paid nothing for that. I ended up cashing out on that for like $1,200. So that was money that I got for nothing. And you look at Pi Coin, like yourself, you made money off of something you paid nothing for, just for clicking a button. And millions of Pi are bought and sold every day. So you can't call this project a scam, at least not based on that criteria.
And now the good news is that TokenLord, who's our main dev, TokenLord himself, the great TokenLord. By the way, you've got, Dave, you have rewards from that one, that review you did, which caused a lot of us to join TokenLordsRPG. TokenLord said that he's got rewards for you. You must please claim it. This is going to be real money, worth real money, eh?
Well, I probably will. I don't, as you can imagine, I don't have a lot of free time, especially for gaming. But the thing that I really liked about TokenLords was their in-game economic model, for one. And the fact that they were looking at Pi, because that's one of my interests. But what really attracted me was the level of quality of the game. Like, when you see things like Fruity Pie and all these other things, I mean, compared to like standard mobile apps, they're not even, they don't measure up to even the lowest of today's mobile apps. So it's kind of a joke to consider that, Pi's offering for gaming. When there's so much more out there. In-game economies are huge. I mean, my son plays Roblox and he spends like, hundreds of dollars a year on fake money in the game, and it's like, we need to get like crypto into these games, into these economies, and can come up with like real economies. And, and the big obstacle to that up to this point has been the latency for transaction execution and the gas fees. And as far as I'm concerned, Pi is perfectly positioned to solve that problem, especially for in-game economy. So, I was really impressed with what I saw for TokenLords and the potential for bringing it into a real, high value project.
So, do you perhaps have the ear of the Pi Core team? Because I know that our devs have been trying to get hold of them because they want to run this idea by them. And they, as you know, the game is ready to incorporate Pi, uh, but I don't think they've managed to. Can you maybe twist somebody's ear?
Let's put it this way. The closest I've come to the PyCore team is having my messages or questions relayed through what they call a super moderator. You know, a lot of people aren't aware that they exist, but they do. And you know, so you have two levels of moderators. The moderators that you see most of the time on the chats, and then they have the super moderators, which get their quote unquote briefings from the PyCore team, and they do have access to them. But my level of access to the PyCore team stops at a couple of super moderators that I occasionally ask for feedback. And that's with, you know, varying degrees of success. Sometimes I get nothing, sometimes I get something. You never know what you're going to get.
Now that brings me to Wyson, the arcane scholar. We got some good news from Token Lord that they are looking at accepting Pi as payment for buying in-game product. So that's great news for us. But until we get to the point where we can actually incorporate Pi itself. Otherwise, we might run on Ethereum or Solana, I think. But I think here is where we ask Wyzen, the arcane scholar, who's one of. So we have. Maybe you can just explain how the game works to Dave from the early days of Discord to where we are at now, please.
Well, Dave, I actually started off with I was big on Reddit with Pi. I mean, I was on Reddit every day. I was checking it out. You know, I wanted to see what was going to happen once it launched. I was on there posting things. I was looking at it, being total Reddit. You know how the Reddit users are on the Pi Reddit. Anyways, so I come across, yeah, I come across this post, and you know, I don't even hit Reddit anymore. I'm always on Token Lord now. But I came across this post which had, you know, the Token Lord link. Hey, we're going to put Pi on this. So I was like, okay, I've got to check this out. And this was 2 days after they had launched the site. So I was like, let me go to Discord, get my free 1,000 TLR, and I'll be good to go. So I did, and it looked interesting. There wasn't many ways that you could make money at that point. They were just starting off. Didn't have any of the infrastructure that they have in place now. I mean, you can make tons of cash now compared to just a few hundred back in the early days. So it has come a long way. I got a few other people on. Some of the highest players on the game now came from me getting them on there, but it's really he's done well on implementing things that have piqued the interest of people, and he's done well on the economy aspect of it. All right, so Pi, I've been doing Pi for I think June of the first year they had it, 2019. I think I was one of the. I mean, I've got 40 something people. I do a node. I got a lot of Pi. I was a big Pi believer. I'm still a big Pi believer, but 100 billion Pi, you know, that number still just is crazy to me. Token Lord the other day, well, a month ago, I guess, he was like, what if we did 100 billion Pi or 100 billion TLR? And I was like, man, don't do what Pi did.
There's a counter argument to that, though, right? Think about this, right? The Pi network's vision is for it to essentially be a money replacement, right? Imagine if you ran the entire world's economy on only 100 billion US dollars, right? That 100 billion doesn't seem so ridiculous anymore with respect to how many actually exist, right? But when you look at a microcosm of like a game environment, you're never going to get enough use. I mean, let's take World of Warcraft at its peak was something like 40 million users, right?
Mhm.
Even that, if you had 100 billion of some in-game token, that's still a lot of money. So it's a question of scale. When you have scale of economies of countries, 100 billion is nothing. Scales of economy in a game is a different story. And I agree with you. Don't make that. Don't try to model yourself after Pi, because you're going after different fish.
Well, to a certain extent, you're correct, but Bitcoin, 21 million.
Yeah.
And look at Bitcoin.
Yeah. Look at Bitcoin. But I mean, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin was, I mean, by all measures of what it set out to do, it failed in every aspect. But it turned into something completely unintentional. And like you say, look at Bitcoin. You can't argue with where it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
And I mean, if Pi would have come out with 100 million, if they would have come out with $1 billion, Pi would be a lot more than 20 cents right now. 100 million, it would be $2,000 right now. Who knows?
Well, think about this, right? The 100 billion people are very hung up on this 100 billion, but there's two things I think that are mitigating this, or should mitigate this in people's minds. One is, at some point there is going to be a burning mechanism, and there has to be, because the Pi coin as it stands right now will likely not be the actual interface with the real world moving forward in the future. The whole point, I think, of creating the layer 2 for Pi is so that you can create a stable coin. And ultimately, I think that the goal of the Pi core team is to create a stable coin backed by Pi. And now it'll have to be an algorithmic coin, which kind of scares me, because I think I can count on one hand the number of successful algorithmic stable coins. But I'm gonna give these Stanford PhDs the benefit of the doubt that they can do it. So that 100 billion no longer seems so daunting when you look at it that way, because you're going to have the ability to burn coins. There's no way around it. So ultimately, I don't think 100 billion is going to be a big problem, even if it stayed the way it was, which I don't think it will. Again, I can't see the future, but for me, it makes sense to go the stablecoin route if Pi wants to do what it expects to do. But look at the mining rate, right? The mining rate right now, it would take an ungodly amount of time to ever see that 100 billion in circulation, which, by the way, it's 65 billion, but
it won't be in my lifetime, I think.
It won't be probably in your kid's lifetime. So it's going to take a long time. So that 100 billion, it's the boogeyman, for a lot of people, but the reality of it is it's not really going to hurt you. What really hurts us right now is the fact that there's no real utility, right? It's slowly building, right? They're building the framework. Meanwhile, you've got millions and hundreds of millions of additional tokens hitting the potential exchange market, right? That are unlocking every day. That is unavoidable. And that, I think, has the biggest impact on why we see the coin so low right now. But like I said before, they're making a lot of moves. They're building the foundation. They're building partnerships. At some point, they're going to hit a critical mass where suddenly everyone's going to want this coin. And then you're going to see the price. You're never going to see these prices again.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I mean, don't get me wrong. Whenever I say 100 billion for Pi is bad, I don't mean it like that, because as well as I do, there's people that have locked up their coins for tons of years, and it's all going to be good. I mean, that's not the circulating supply. The circulating supply is what's important. That's like with the TLR coin that we've got here in the game. He did 100 million. I like it. I like that number. There will be probably 6 million in circulation. That's a great number. All right.
Does he have a tokenomics, a published tokenomics for like inflation, deflation?
He does not yet.
Okay.
I think he's coming out with a new white paper here soon, from what he said. It's going to be interesting how it's all laid out. But as far as the game itself, I mean, a RPG game like this has been successful. Axie Infinity was a huge RPG, crypto RPG game. I mean, it's still, I think last time I saw it was $250 a coin. But at one point, it was up to $164 a coin. That is huge in the RPG environment. Now, this coin could be much, much higher. The max coins with Axie Infinity is 250 million. As I said, with this one, it's 100 million. 6 million will be out there. So this coin will be much higher once they get everything in place. Now, we're still in testing phase with the Discord. It ends in 4 days, 5 days?
3 days.
3 days. 3 days now.
Yeah.
On the 12th, it ends in Web 2. The Web 2 looks nice. He's got a lot of ideas in place. We'll see if it all works out, but that's still a testing phase. He's not there to the Web 3, to the crypto, which it will be sold and traded at that point, but he's still not at the point to where it's going to be the full game. Everything's going to be laid out correctly to a certain degree. So there is a long way to go at this point still. So anybody that got in now is still early. That's what people have to realize, and that's what the people on Discord, I believe we believe in that. We've seen that all the things that have happened. He's listening to our comments, to us saying, "Hey, this would be a good idea. This would be a good idea." They're laying it out in a way that it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be entertaining, and I do believe it's going to excel in the crypto market. I really do.
So let me just interject quickly. Some comments from. I've got to take my glasses off to read. From Kirk Schaefer. Thanks for introducing us to TokenLordsRPG, Dave. And even more thanks for your Pi news. And then there are some comments from Typical Brothers on the number of coins. Token Lords has 100 million, not 100 billion. And then says the price can be thousands in response to what you say, Wisen. What I'm thinking now is Token Lord was supposed to give me access to the latest version of the Web 2 that's being launched on Friday. It's Friday the 12th. But he gave it to me just a few minutes before we went live, so I'm not able to log in yet. I'll see if I can. But if you can, let me just quickly
give access to it.
Sorry, Wisen?
I have access to it. I can show you if you would like.
Okay, great. So you're going to show us. But before we get there,
sure.
I want to give Dave a bit of the history of from when I came in. So I came in as a free player. Then I started doing some doing this channel. You inspired me, by the way, Dave. Thank you very much. To start a channel and talk about TokenLordsRPG. There's no way I could talk about Pi because there's so many, and there's an authority like you. So why try and fix something that's not broken? So there was nobody talking about TokenLordsRPG, and I thought, okay, let's start the channel. When we started out, we had no guilds. We've got guilds now. We started off with one guild, the Blue Guild, led by Blueprint Baron. And all of the top players, the top 15, 20 players currently, they were all in this one guild. It was 10 of us, I think. And that included Wisen the Arcane Scholar, the mighty Pick and Chocks, AZ of the Broken Arrows. You can see how we're into this role-playing thing, Dave.
I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. So
there you go.
I'm all in. Yeah.
And so I am Severian of the Light Eternal, the healer. And so all of us were one happy family in this Blue Guild. And then Token Lord introduced the Premium Guild, where you get dollars per killing of monsters, mobs. And then, of course, um, the guild, the one guild, split into three. We've already got our drama and our intrigue. And Wizen, the arcane scholar, took our greatest warrior, Costa Rica Jack, and they went off and they formed the guild of the arcane dragons, dragon overlords. Vox Ursi is the first ever premium guild. That's ours, the voice of the bear. And then along came AZ, and he formed Ordo Noxai, together with the mighty Pick and Chock. So now we have three guilds, and we managed to get to. We're on level 3 of the guilds, and then the rest, the other 2 guilds are at level 2, and there are various perks that you get. If you can explain to Dave how it works, how our economy works at the moment, and what we are looking at it evolving into in Web 2, and then eventually in Web 3.
Well, right now with the guilds, if you're in a guild, you get points for defeating a mob. Once the mob is defeated, which they have tons of HP that you're trying to whittle down to none, and then you get a reward for it, for defeating them. Each member gets a certain amount of money at that point. We also claim TLR every day. You get that for being in the guild. We claim gems, which gets us access to weapons. Some people have really good weapons. I've got tier 6 weapons, which are some of the top. Yeah, but Baron Blueprint, he has a tier 8. He's the top one out there right now. It's a fun game. We all converse. We all have a good time playing it and defeating the mobs and making a little bit of coin. It's more than the pie than just mining pie for 24 hours, of course. But as I said, right now, it's going from where we are now to a new structure to where we're going to have kingdoms. And if you'd like, I could show him the new Web 2.
Yes, please do. Please do. Thanks.
Okay.
While we're waiting, somebody says, Dave, I love the hat. That's no game, no pain. Also, AZ of the Broken Arrows, he asked me to relay to you that he loves your hat.
Okay, thank you.
As you can see here, we've got what the entering screen looks like, the business here. We've got the frontier or the fort or the kingdom, level 0. I'm not sure exactly where these kingdoms will go to, but evidently we get TLR for the kingdoms. We also have active businesses down here we can get materials from. Let me go to this and show you that part of it. And then we collect on these as well. We've got an inventory tab here to where you can see the inventory that a player has. You have a chest tab that will allow you to open chests like in the game. And you just click the tab.
Which is very different from currently in Discord, where you actually have to do something like a programming command to achieve your objective.
That is correct. That is correct. They've added a chat feature to it. We've got a crafting tab that'll allow you to craft your items.
So I imagine at some point you could actually you could actually sell items that you craft.
That is correct. Yes. This this game is going to be full of ways that you can make money in it.
It'll be
As I
interesting to
said,
see. It'll be interesting to see how they work that, right? So, for example, like I go back to World of Warcraft, right? You know,
yeah,
they had all these like professions and skills, and people, you know, when you have 40 million players, a good chunk of them are all doing the same thing, right? And chances are, if they've been doing it long enough, they're all doing it at the same level of quality. You know, I wonder. It'll be interesting to see how the game limits that so that there is value for crafting in the markets.
yes, no doubt. That's one thing I've tried to relay a lot whenever I post things is, hey, the NFTs have to be rare. You can't have NFTs everywhere in the game. You know, you have to have these things rare so they have the value. You have to have rare items everywhere. You have to have it to where people work, and once they work, and you give them the profit from it. You know.
Yeah, one way you can do that, right, is make the components like hard to get, right? You have to jump through a lot of hurdles and pass through goalposts to get the items needed to assemble or to build these items. And then, you know, A, that will limit the number of people who are willing to do it, and B, you're almost creating like a proof of work concept for the in-game items.
Yes,
I think Token Lord is listening, so some good ideas coming from you there, Dave. By the way, you just got invited to buy. I think this is AZ of the Broken Arrows, but it's at No Game No Pain saying, Dave, you're invited to join Ordo Noxai. Blueprint Baron, do you want to put in a bid there to entice Dave to join Vox Ursit?
All right, so we have a marketplace also that they're going to be coming up with. This marketplace is going to be a wealth of economic stuff in here. I mean, this is going to be huge, man. So they're doing a lot to make this great. As I said, right now it's early. Anybody that gets in this at this point is early. Just saying. There's a lot that we can do with this. There's a lot that we're going to be able to tell him to, or give him ideas about to do in this.
Are you saying even if you join in Web2, Wisen?
I feel you're still early at that point.
I've just got a message here from Typical Brothers saying how to join the game. I've got a link in the description. You can just click that link and then join. So I don't know if you can go directly to Discord, but it still works like that, not so, Wisen?
Yes. Yeah, they can still join Discord for a few more days, but there is a lot that can be done with this. It's going to blow up. This game is going to blow up. I'm telling you, Dave, it's going to be good.
Yeah, there's another comment saying Web2 looks sick. Kudos to the team and Token Lord, all excited. Well, let's get your ideas on this, Dave. What do you think from the little bit that you've seen? And by the way, when Web2 goes live, our TLR, or is it going to be called TLRPG, is going to be traded at a price of 10 euro cents. Is that correct, Wisen?
That is correct, yes.
So that's the price that's set at the beginning, but then it's up to the market what happens to the price.
Yep.
Dave, you're mute.
Yep. Yeah. So you think I would have figured this out by now? But just like Pi, right? You know, they set the opening price for Pi at $3, right? And then it just did whatever it did. And and you have to start somewhere. So yeah, that sounds great. The interface looks good. I definitely think one of the things that they'll have to keep an eye on is how to make the crafting valuable, because otherwise you're not going to get any value from the in-game crafted items. And then, you probably end up having random, like randomly spawned items, like, what would be the equivalent of your rare and your epic and your legendary type, items, which are not user made, but can be found, at various points within the game or earned, based on what's going on. And I imagine those would be high value, but you can control those, right? You can control how many of those ever exist, right? So that in and of itself creates value. It's the user generated items that are really going to, determine, the larger bulk, I think, of the economy. Like, for example, again, I keep going back to World of Warcraft just because it has a large in-game economy and it's been around for a long time. They have what's called the auction house, which is similar to the marketplace here, and it fluctuates and it's wild to watch. I used to spend a lot of time, trading on the auction house, and you'll see like certain items coming into popularity and the prices going up, and then everyone rushes to get that item because they want to make money, and then it floods the market, prices go back down. So you see some real market dynamics there. And I think what's really going to help is the fact that this is tied to real money, right? People behave differently when real money is involved. People are very cavalier when it doesn't mean anything. So, and I think that's another opportunity to really see, what the market dynamics are going to look like in this game.
What advice have you got for us or for the devs to guard against whales coming in and just controlling everything?
Well, you have to think about the mechanisms by which whales accumulate wealth, right? If you have a marketplace where people can just buy your coin, then there's not much you can do, right? People with the means will just buy gobs and gobs of your coin. If you make it so that it has to be earned, through the exchange of goods, you can control that, but then you have to be very careful about controlling bots, right? Because they'll create bots to farm items and sell items, and then that will dilute your economy as well. But those are the two big ones, right? Avoid the ability for direct purchases of your coin. As long as you have that ability, somebody, like I said, somebody with means is going to just buy more of the coin, there's no way to avoid them making controlling moves on the markets.
Actually, I'm not too clear on that. Am I correct, Wizen, that TokenLord said after the launch of Web 2, then purchasing of TLR packages goes away? Or is it going to be more difficult? What?
I'm not sure what he's got planned, to tell you the truth. Once the new white paper comes out, hopefully he will have some explanation behind that. He said it will be a lot harder to get TLR at that point. I hope I put out there in the chats, hey, you need to watch out for whales, watch out for farming. He has seen this tremendously, so he knows it. He's just they've got to come up with a plan that to where it works the way it does. Now, we talked about Axie Affinity. As I said, it was $164. They messed up their economy. It went to what it is now, $2, $1, whatever it is now. With any crypto, you have to have things in place correctly. And that's something that he posted yesterday. He said it's like building a rocket ship. We have to have everything correct on there.
Or it blows up.
Or if you have one thing incorrect, it's going to blow up. And that's what he's looking to do. So he's got it in mind to make sure this is successful. Will it be? I don't know. I put enough money in it at this point that I'm hoping it is. but like I said, the game is set to do something great. I believe that it will be entertaining game in the future, I believe people will want to play this game. Will it be like World of Warcraft? He has talked about.
Well, it's not open world, right?
It will be, yes.
It will be. Okay.
He's doing it. He's doing it with AI, artificial intelligence. So the world will be endless. The possibilities are going to be endless. He's talking about doing virtual reality in the next few years with this.
Yeah, so that's not hard. That's not hard because it's 3D rendered. It's easy to put on a VR platform. But yeah, I mean, VR is very popular for gaming. I do VR all the time for gaming.
Maybe we should get you in, on our dev team there. So, before,
oh, geez.
Before I come back to you, Dave, I just want to take a quick look at the messages. It's very nice to see all these messages coming through. There's a bit of a guild battle happening in the chat. Somebody is shouting, "Dave of Ordonoxide." And then someone else is saying,
yeah, see, I would be like that first round draft pick that everyone's clamoring to get that turns out to be a dud.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
What's the other one? Or Dave joins us and then he's only in the battle once a week or something, because he's so busy.
And then leaves halfway through it.
Yeah. The other one says Vox Ursi is Daddy Guild. Vox Ursi is definitely number one. Of course, I'm a bit biased, eh? So then, yeah, somebody's asking for more of a squiz at the Web2 to look at what's happening in Web2. But I think you've shown us just about everything, not so Wisen?
Yeah, I showed most of the things on there, and there's probably going to be more to come. I'm still a big. The tavern ideas that I put up, man, they were amazing. So I'm hoping I can get him to do that tavern idea. But
tell Dave about what. Just give him an overview of the idea that you have for taverns within TokenLordsRPG.
All right. Hold on, let me go to it right quick. I can read a little bit of it in the.
While you're looking it up, so Dave, in the game, we'll be able to. We have pets. I've got a green a mystic pet egg, and it will produce a pet dragon. And we've also got a little playful green dragon. Then there's a brown dragon, and then a black dragon, which is very somber and looks very powerful, I suppose. But these pets will be able to uncover NFTs for you, like you were saying. These can't be earned. It's by chance you get them in the game. When you're
I was going to ask if the pets had any utility in the game. That's
yes,
good
they
to
will
know.
also be increase your attack, and in higher levels, according to TokenLord, you won't be able to win a battle against another high level player without a pet. So that's going to be quite something.
Now, is combat in the game turn based?
Yes, it's turn based. I'm right, Wisen? It's turn based, yes.
That is correct. Yes. All right, Dave. Some of the features I put in this tavern: a bar area, social hub, real-time player interactions, community building, live chat system, global tavern chat, direct messaging between players, voice chat room for guilds, chat bubbles appear over player avatars, bartender NPCs, daily quests and bounties, rumor and hints about upcoming events, trade offers for rare items, lore and world building dialogue, economy integration, tip other players, bronze for good conversation, buy a round of drinks for the whole tavern. That's bronze sink. There's so much that can be done in here. Food and drink shop. You could buy food and drink for your players.
Yeah.
So
I imagine you can also do things like, for example, hire mercenaries, right?
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Because that would be where you'd find people for hire, right?
Yeah.
And you can hire them to do some of the heavy lifting for you.
The suggestions in this game, they look at these suggestions. In the past months that we've been on this, they've taken our ideas, they've grown. So anybody that gets in at this point, like I said, we're still building. He's still building the rocket ship, making it the best it can be. we want to get it to the best it can be. So it's the coin is functional, it's flawless, it's worth something. I'd like to see the coin be worth $2,000-3,000 at some point. Who knows? If there's only 5 million out there, maybe it will be, because we're going to have these coins to where we can put them back to where they're not used at that point. What did he say it was going to be? It was going to be
like a cold storage, or
it's going to be something. He specified what it was. I can't remember what it was, but it's going to be to where the coins are making money like Pi coins are, and locked up.
I see.
Yeah,
kind of like staking.
Yeah, I think he said it was going to be sort of staking to a certain degree.
So what's going to happen with the business? The Kingdom Tower, it will generate TLR, and then there's going to be a weekly buyback. Is that a burn mechanism, Moisen?
He's got many burn mechanisms in there, and I've thrown in comments after comment. You got to be careful with those burn mechanisms with 100 million out there. I don't want the coin to burn way too. I don't want there to be way too much burn out there, you know?
Well, especially when you don't have a large part of it in circulation yet.
Yeah.
Or because then you'll have it unrealistically inflated. Now, the other thing I was thinking is that, for example, like you have these kingdoms, right? I'm assuming the kingdoms have some level of development and construction, and that would be a good thing for, like, say, somebody to stake their coin as a loan towards the building of infrastructure or buildings or that sort of thing. Right, because these things aren't cheap, right? And a single person may not be able to do it, but with a combination of multiple people staking their coin to a pool, they can now build much more than they could individually.
That would work in the guild, in the guild, because the guilds will have kingdoms also. Everybody in the guild could put toward the guild kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
So you can do that. You can use that, because that'll be a good thing, right? And then everyone who stakes gets some sort of payback, for staking at the completion of the project.
Oh, that's good.
Then I have a question here. Someone says, what about the players who joined a bit later and they couldn't get any dragons because the dragons were sold out? There were a limited number of dragons, Dave, that were available early on, and now they're sold out. So I don't know what the answer is to them.
Well, the answer to this is, like, come on, people. If you're not going to get in early, you're gonna miss stuff.
Yeah,
okay, and
that's
you
just
can't.
it.
And that's the whole point of getting in early. You get access to things, and when they're gone, they're gone. You have to just deal with it.
Guys, I'm gonna have a dragon shop, so you guys can buy one of mine.
But didn't you say you were going to give someone a black dragon?
I'm going to give someone a green dragon.
A green dragon.
Black
Okay.
I'm just saying there wouldn't be so much FOMO if people actually got involved early with different things.
Then there's also a question. Will there be PvP tournaments for real money? I suppose that can be included.
Yes, there will. From what I've heard, there will be.
But do you think that's not a good idea, Dave?
No, PvP is amazing. I love the idea, and you can even do sponsored PvP. So, for example, like jousting tournaments, like that's an example, right? You have a kingdom invites people from other kingdoms, other guilds, whatever, to all participate in one combined event, like a tournament, right? And people can stake coin on who their champions are, and to win.
There's a question in the comment section. Want you to know. They clearly know more about you, Dave, because Dave is more things than just a Pi commentator. He's also a singer. They want to know if you'll sing the intro to TokenLordsRPG tournaments.
Yeah, sure. Just send me the music. I'll sing it.
Okay. We are down to 5 minutes left. Unfortunately, I don't have that. Google wants me to take out a premium plan. So the call is limited to 1 hour, and we've got 5 minutes left. I think if we can have your overall feeling from what you've seen now, Dave. What do you think? What's the way forward for us, and what's your prognosis for the game itself?
Well, let me say this. I have said this from day one that gaming for Pi is the ideal vertical. And if Pi is not involved in gaming, then they're missing out. People think that the Pi coin isn't serious because they're looking at gaming. And to that, I say that why would you say that when you have some of the biggest games on the planet, right? Making billions of dollars, right? It makes more money than the movie industry. Okay. And if Pi is going to be money, serious money, then it should be part of these things, right? Because otherwise it is a joke. To not be part of it makes it a joke. Being a part of it isn't what makes it a joke. You know, people say, oh, Pi shouldn't be involved in gambling. Why? Money is used in gambling. If Pi is money, it should be used for gambling, and it should be used for everything that money can be used for. And gaming, huge revenue for any project. Now, as far as Token Lords is concerned, it is the most mature concept I have seen to date for a crypto-enabled game. And there's a lot to be said about being first, or being early. If you do things right, being early means you win. and that's just it. As long as you don't stumble, you win. And I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm hearing. And from what I can tell, that they really seem to be doing a good job building their game community, right? I'm hearing more and more from people in the comments saying that they got into playing the game because of me, and that's only been building. So I think it's got a great future. I think there's bumps in the road for them. They have to navigate. The least of which, like you said, you need to keep the whales out to the best of your ability. And I don't know how they're going to do that. But and then of course, the other thing is going to be security for the coin itself. Like, what is your wallet structure? What does your encryption look like? Is it custodial, non-custodial, and that sort of thing. You have to be careful. Each has their own pitfalls and benefits. Look at pinetwork. Everyone wanted non-custodial wallets, and now half the community is crying because they have no recourse because they got scammed. You can't have it both ways. So I think there's some tough decisions that'll have to be made along the way. But it sounds like the creators of Token Lords are thinking about all these things, and there's certainly a lot of precedent to draw from.
Well, thank you so much, Dave, for having joined us. I'm sorry I've got to start wrapping things up now. Wizen, have you got a final comment before we wrap it up?
No final. Well, my final comment is, if you're not on Token Lords already, you need to get on there. It is a good game. It's going to be a good game. So everybody that doesn't play at this point, start playing.
You remember what I said about FOMO?
Yes. So, and talking, I see you have your wallet address. You have your wallet address in the description, so that's not a problem.
No, it's a public address. That's what it's for.
Public address, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, good luck figuring out my private address, but public is. I mean, that's what it's for. I mean, if you're going to use Pi as money, this is your Venmo address. This is your Zelle address. It's equivalent.
Your prediction for I know this is going to, I don't know if we can put much. My son Dakota has given me a warning there that it's about to end the call. The price of Pi. Do you have any idea?
It's not going to be this low forever. That's what I'm going to tell you. Where it's going to go depends on execution, but I like what I'm seeing.
And the price of TLR?
That's for you, Wyson.
I mean, who knows? I'm just hoping they do the coin right. The white paper's got to come out. It's got to be perfect. I've put my comments out there in the comments section, so who knows where it'll go. It could be $2,000 one day. Let's hope so.
So now the point is, do we spend the TLR? Do we sell it when we have a chance, or do we hold on to it? Do we buy bigger Kingdom Towers? What do we do? You've got 30 seconds, Wizen.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the blackjack table and I'm gonna spend it. I'm gonna throw it all down. I mean, I have lost millions at the blackjack table. Millions.
Yes, you have. You have. Wow.
In a couple of minutes.
Gentlemen, thank you so much, and we shall chat again. Dave, I certainly shall be watching your channel.
It's great to meet you both, and I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
TokenLordsRPG.
See you there.